What if the advice you've always heard about building wealth is just a little off? Not completely wrong, just incomplete. What if the real secret to getting ahead financially isn't about starting with a huge amount of money, but something far simpler? Something most people overlook because it doesn't look impressive at first. What if everything you've been told about saving first, investing later, is actually slowing you down? Not ruining your progress, but quietly delaying it, keeping you in a loop where you feel responsible, but not really moving forward. That's a dangerous place to be because it feels like progress when it's actually stagnation. Pause for a second and really think about that. Because most people don't fail financially from one big mistake. They fall behind slowly, quietly, through habits that seem smart on the surface, but don't actually build wealth underneath. Most people spend years, sometimes decades, waiting to invest, waiting until they feel ready, waiting until they have enough money, waiting for the perfect timing. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That moment almost never comes. Life keeps happening, expenses keep showing up, and later keeps getting pushed further away. Now, let me ask you something. If I gave you a choice right now, $500 today or $50 every month, what would you pick? Be honest. Most people don't even hesitate. They grab the $500 instantly. It feels obvious. It feels smarter. It feels like winning. Because your brain is wired that way. It's wired to value what's bigger right now, not what grows bigger over time. We're naturally drawn to immediate results, immediate satisfaction, immediate proof that we're making progress. And that's exactly where most people lose the wealth game before they even realize they're playing it. This isn't just about money. It's about psychology, instant gratification versus delayed growth, comfort versus discipline, short-term thinking versus long-term vision. And the truth is, most people don't struggle financially because they're lazy. They struggle because they're human. We all want to feel like we're making progress, and saving a large amount gives you that feeling instantly. You see a number in your account and it feels secure. It feels like you're doing the right thing. But investing small amounts consistently feels slow, almost invisible, sometimes even pointless. And that's exactly why it works. So today, we're going to strip this down to the truth. No hype, no complicated jargon, no unrealistic promises. Just a simple breakdown using real numbers that shows you exactly how wealth is actually built over time. And by the end of this, your entire perspective on money is going to shift. But real quick, if you're serious about improving your financial future this year, hit that like button. It helps this video reach more people who genuinely need it. And if you want more simple, practical money strategies, make sure you subscribe. Now, let's make this real. Imagine two people. Same starting point, same opportunities, same timeline, but two completely different approaches. Meet Sarah. Sarah does everything right, at least according to traditional advice. She saves consistently, she avoids unnecessary risks, she stays disciplined, and eventually she hits a milestone she's proud of, $500 saved. She puts it in a high-yield savings account, and honestly, it feels amazing. Safe, stable, predictable. No stress, no uncertainty, no worrying about market crashes or losing money overnight. She feels in control, and to be fair, she is. Saving is important. It builds discipline. It gives you a safety net. It protects you during emergencies. But here's the part most people don't hear often enough. Saving protects your money. It doesn't multiply it. Now let's look at Dan. Dan isn't in a perfect situation. He doesn't have $500 saved. He's dealing with real life, rent, food, bills, responsibilities. But instead of waiting until everything is perfect, he adapts. He asks a different question. Not how much do I need to start, but what can I stay consistent with? And his answer is simple. $50 a month. It doesn't sound impressive, it doesn't feel life-changing. In fact, most people would ignore an amount that small, but Dan does something different. He automates it. Every month, $50 goes into an investment account. No emotions, no overthinking, no trying to time the market, just consistency. And right here is where most people fall behind. Not because they don't have money, but because they don't have a system. They rely on motivation instead of structure. And motivation fades, systems don't. So now the race begins. Sarah with her $500 head start. Dan with his $50 monthly habit. At first glance, it looks obvious. Sarah is ahead, and not just ahead, comfortably ahead. But money doesn't reward what looks good at the beginning. It rewards what keeps going. Let's break down Sarah's side first. Her $500 grows at about 4% per year. After 10 years, it becomes roughly $740. On paper, that's a win. She didn't take risks, she didn't stress, and she still made money. But then there's something most people ignore. Inflation. Prices rise, quietly, constantly, relentlessly. What you could buy for $10 a few years ago might cost $15 or even $20 today. And not difference, it's silently reducing the value of your money. So when you factor that in, Sarah didn't really move forward. She stayed in the same place, just more comfortably. Now let's look at Dan. Dan chose growth over comfort. He chose uncertainty over safety. But more importantly, he chose consistency over perfection. Every month, his $50 goes into the market, averaging about 10% over time. And here's where things start to shift. Because Dan isn't just investing money, he's building momentum. At first, nothing feels exciting. The growth is slow. The numbers are small. It almost feels like it's not working. And this is where most people quit. They give up right before things start to matter. Because what they don't understand is this. Compounding is invisible until it becomes unstoppable. Think of it like planting a seed. For a long time, nothing seems to happen. No visible growth, no exciting results. But underneath the surface, something is building. And then suddenly, everything changes. Let's fast forward. After 1 year, Sarah's $500 becomes about $520. Dan, after investing $50 every month, has around $627. He's already ahead. After 5 years, the gap becomes impossible to ignore. Sarah's money grows to about $608. Dan's portfolio, around $3,800. Now his gains alone are bigger than Sarah's entire savings. And this is usually where people start to realize something is off with what they've been taught. But we're still not at the most important part. Let's go to 10 years. Sarah ends with about $740. Dan ends with nearly $9,800 from just $50 a month. Let that sink in for a second. This isn't luck, this isn't talent, this isn't special knowledge. It's consistency plus time. And here's the part most people underestimate. The real magic isn't 10 years. It's what happens when you keep going. At 20 years, the growth starts accelerating. At 30 years, Sarah has about $1,600. Dan, over $100,000 from doing something small over and over again. So be honest with yourself. Right now, are you more like Sarah or Dan? Now let's address something important, because some people will say, well, Dan invested more money. And yes, that's true. But that's the entire point. Wealth isn't built from one big action. It's built from repeated small actions done consistently over time. Saving once feels good, but investing consistently builds results. So instead of asking how much do I need to start asking how consistent can I be? Because consistency creates volume, volume creates growth, and growth creates wealth. Now let's be real for a moment. This isn't a straight, perfect journey. The market goes up, the market goes down. There will be fear, there will be doubt, there will be moments where you feel like quitting. And most people don't lose at the beginning, they lose in the middle because they stop. Dan doesn't win because he's smarter. He wins because he keeps going when it's boring and when it's uncomfortable. So here's the real lesson. You don't need more money to start. You need a better habit. Because most people think, I'll start when I have more. But the truth is, you'll have more because you started. So don't wait. Don't overthink it. Start small, even if it's $20. Automate it. Remove emotion. Stay consistent. Because time is either working for you or against you. And at the end of the day, wealth isn't built by how much you start with. It's built by what you do consistently and how long you give it to grow. I will see you in the next video.